Welcome back to Good Life Western Sports, sponsored by L&H Manufacturing. I'm Bobby Leanne. Tony Gomez of Jackson, Nebraska is preserving his Mexican heritage roots through the sport of rodeo. Check out the full story here. In 1963, Tony Gomez came to the United States to get out of the impoverished life he led in Mexico and to find better opportunities for himself and his wife. After leaving Mexico, Tony and his wife made a life in Illinois and then relocated to Nebraska. Although he calls Jackson, Nebraska home, Tony Gomez remains faithful to his Mexican heritage. Each year, Tony Gomez produces a charro similar to a rodeo with several cultural events. The event celebrates the Mexican Independence Day with several athletes participating from Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa, and Kansas.
I come from Mexico, and Mexico back in those days, in my early years, football and baseball, yeah, they're still there, but the charros or the charreada, which is the rodeos and stuff like that, that was the big sport back then. So when I moved to the States, I always had a dream to own someday on a horse, and do something of that nature, and it took me quite a few years to get out to that point. And in 2005, I rent a piece of land by town, and I build up an arena, and we start have rodeos in the summertime, about 4 rodeos throughout the summer. We compete with Nebraska, Iowa, even Kansas. There's groups they come over and compete. But the most important thing about the rodeo, there's 2 things. Number one, kind of give the younger generation something to do instead of do other things, and most important, to keep the culture, where we came from, and I think that we need to pass this on to our kids. It's nice to continue with our heritage and our traditions, of course. I don't want my kids or my grandkids when they grow up saying, well, I didn't even know where my dad came from, and I don't know what he used to do. So I would like pass it on to them, they keep our tradition and our culture.
Along with spending much of his time producing charros, Gomez started his own successful business, Gomez Pallets, in 1983. The company has branched out to not only repair used pallets and resell them, but to also sell new pallets. The pallet company supplies several businesses in the Siouxland area, Norfolk, and several other northeast Nebraska communities.
When I came here in 1970, started working for IBP. I worked for the meat packing industry for 17 years, and I started my business in 1983 on part-time basis, after working hours, and then I became a full-time, and I started building more product and more product and more product, and I've been here 47 years.
Along with producing charro events and building a successful business, Gomez has volunteered his time in education, politics, and foundation boards. Over the years, Gomez has received several honorary recognitions for his efforts and was recently presented the prestigious Otili Award by the Institute of Mexicans Abroad. The award is given to an individual who has dedicated a great portion of their life and professional activity to preserving the Mexican heritage in a foreign country. Gomez states that it is very important to pass those traditions on to the next generation.
In 1987, I have a phone call from governor of the state of Nebraska, which is my wife answered the phone, and she told me, the governor of Nebraska called you. I said, nah, you gotta be, excuse me, you gotta be nuts. The governor of Nebraska ain't gonna call me. He did, left the number. Yeah, he left the number. So I called him the next day. There was not him, actually, there was the office of the governor of the state of Nebraska, and he once appointed me Mexican American Commission, which is some of the, right there, one of those plates. So that's how I started getting involved in politics. Throughout the years, I was the board of trustee for Briarcliff College in Sioux City, Iowa. I was the board of trustees on Northeast Community College. I was the president of St. Michael's Parish, president of the St. Michael's Parish Council in South Sioux City, the Law Enforcement Center, you name it. I mean, there's so many things out there that I don't remember, but I think when you are willing to serve the community and willing to give yourself some of the time to all for the good of the community, that's me.